It's a beautiful day here in the mountains of southern Appalachia. Matt's got his, what'd you do with it? Oh, got his carpenter's pencil and ready to do some work today. He's going to try to do, it's our first attempt, Matt's first attempt at using our metal off our roof where we had it re-roofed last year to make a raised bed. Actually not make it, I guess we're just, what would you call it? Updating our raised beds that are falling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you watched our previous videos where we ended up with pine was all we could get, so many of you had just the best ideal was to use the method of, and I can't say it, it's like a Japanese term. Do you remember how to say it? No. Anyway, to burn the wood as a protectant. So just so happens that Matt got me for Christmas a
weed torch.
Weed torch, yeah. We've never used one of those or never really thought about getting one or anything, but last year we had that horrible mulberry weed, and I don't know where it come from. Actually, we've had it for the past 2 years. But it's a weed that takes over so fast because when it's this high, it starts setting seeds. It sets seeds underneath its little leaves as it goes up. So almost immediately it starts reseeding itself. And it was just impossible, wasn't it, to get rid of. And it started in one bed. I think it actually come with some blackberries that we got a few years back. And then from that bed, it's just got to where it's everywhere. So I said that would be Matt thought that would be a way to just eradicate it every time you see one. I mean, every time it gets a certain height, we could do that. Anyway, since we already have that, we're going to try to do that technique on the pine boards before Matt actually starts building the beds. Did I talk way too much?
No, but you made a gross error.
What?
What is this first attempt to business?
Oh, you'll do it. You can do it.
Yeah, I know. That's what
I
I'm
just
saying.
meant this is the first bed you're going to do.
It's the first time he's going to try it, and so we'll stay tuned.
You want me to do it again?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Matt's already tried it out on one, and it worked really good, so now he's just got to do the rest of them.
Shovel some of this too.
So Matt's got the first one built. We're going to show you how he did it, but first, since he's just flying by the seat of his pants, he wanted to do the first side and figure out what he was doing. So we're going to see if we can get it put up, and then we'll show you how he did it. He's going to go ahead and remove the old logs that have been here a long time, just so he'll have a better base to actually start putting up the bed. I'm asking Matt every minute what he's doing. He's telling me I got to stop every time the notion hits me and study about things for a minute. Make sure I know what I'm doing.
Some man shovel right here.
I like the little shovel. It's about my size, about what I can handle.
Those work good planting and stuff. No, that's actually Miss Cindy's shovel.
Was it Miss Cindy's?
I mean, she's the one gave me the first one of these some years ago, and I've still got it somewhere. But this was literally hers. It come from her house when I was over there the last time. I saw it and got it.
Well, she was like me. She needed something smaller to use.
Yeah.
Matt got the first side up. It looks great, looks wonderful. I'm so tickled with it. And I said it was going to look like Christmas, but I didn't realize that the boards was going to go long ways. And now that we use the Japanese technique, they look real rustic. So you can't see much of the red. And there's Matt's only got 3 green T-posts right now, but he is going to put in 2 more in the middle of those. Anyway, I just think it looks fantastic. And now he's going to, and it's so sturdy, it'll be there for a long, long time. And thanks to all of you, I think the wood will even last better. So thank you so much for that. Now it's time to start on the next one. How does your little snipper things work?
Well, it worked real good on the first one. Kind of hard to keep it real straight, but it don't have to be real straight for what we're doing. One sheet of that short porch tin will do
The ends.
these 2 ends, and then we'll have it.
Matt was trying to explain to me why he was using the top piece with where he cut it, the top piece, but with the ribs in it.
Trying to, just like we did over here.
So that the top would have a roll in it, and that way you're probably not going to get cut on it, but you will be reaching in and out, so that way it would form some little protection there, just using that natural roll of the metal.
Now we're going to lay these 2 pieces down. Have them do everything upside down, so it's it's hard to see what you're doing, or hard for me. So what we want to do here is pick this up, put it right there. And then on these 2 longer runs of the bed, I'm leaving 1.5 inches stuck out on each end, and then the shorter end pieces will run into this, and I'll be able to screw through the 2x4s into the other 2x4s on the other ones, and that'll just help stouten it up even more. It'll be another connection. Just about got to do these one at a time because they get jumbled up and they move. That's pretty close. Alright, I'm having to start these screws with a hammer, and that's kind of rednecked or whatever, but these screws, these are deck screws, and they don't really want to start in the middle really good. And I could go pre-drill it, but by the time I find a drill bit, I can have most of this probably done. So I'm just starting them with a hammer and going back and screwing them. All right, now I'm coming down to the other end and putting one in it just to keep it from, I'm wanting it to stay against the back side of this rib right here. And I don't want it, if you start and come from one end all the way down, it might, and that's what happened on the first one. It kind of, the 2x4 kind of drifted and fell down, and when I flipped it over, it had run away from the rib and it looked bad, so I had to take it back off. So I'm just going to put one screw down here and screw these 2 in, and I can go back in between and put all my screws in, and then do the same thing on the other 2x4. Now I'm going to do the other 2x4 that's on this panel the same way. And then once I get it done, the actual piece of metal is like 6 feet longer than what 2x4s I have, so I'm gonna have to go do this again on the other end to piece it to get it, the 2x4s the length of the 10. And then once we have that, that panel will be done and it will go on the back side of the bed. And then all that's left will be the 2 shorter ends, and they should go a little quicker. We hope anyway. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same thing as I did on the other end of this piece of tin with these 2 smaller pieces and get those attached and screwed on, and it'll be ready. All right, now we're gonna drive some little T-posts in the ground. I've got it about where I want to put it. I'm gonna drive these down fairly close to where they go and stop, and then I'll put a screw in one end, and then I'll use a level to level it up on the other end and get it fairly close. I mean, it's a garden bed. We ain't gonna live in it, so it's close enough. It will be close enough.
Hit a rock.
Yep. I think we got through it though. Get just a little bit more of that. To get the hole to line up. That right there will work. I'll screw that one. And then it'll hold it up and down where it's going to be, and then the other end I'll use a level and tilt it up and get it close to what the other end of that other one is. And we'll be in business. Miles off.
40 miles off, did you say?
Yep. See what that does for it. It's pretty close.
It helped it.
Yeah, I don't want to pull it so much that it puts a bow in it up there, so it's a little different than up there, but it's going to work. What I'm going to do is that right there and kind of squeeze him in just a little.
Behind you.
Just like that right there, and that's going to get just about where I want it. Okay.
What you doing, Olive?
Goodness. Yeah. What you doing there, puppy? What you doing?
What you got there?
Yeah, that'll work. Quarter inch thick.
I think we can live with a 1/4 inch.
I think so. And I can literally probably get that right there.
Get them all screwed in.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna check level across it. I have no idea what that is. And it really don't matter. I'm just for my own curiosity. I just want to see how far off we are, in other words, because it's going to be a little off. Oh gosh, it ain't much. I wasn't even trying to get it, but it's close.
Are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, it'd work. Like your daddy used to say, that's close enough.
This is a shorter piece of metal that went on the porch, actually, part of our house. So Matt says it'll work. It'll work good for the ends of the bed.
It'll be a whole lot easier to handle. It's shorter.
Yeah.
And he's just been laying out in the woods. They got leaves and dirt on them. But I have heard God made dirt and dirt don't hurt. You ever heard that?
I heard that. I learned that from you.
Oh, did you?
God made dirt and dirt don't hurt.
Yeah. Stout.
That looks so nice. So great. We didn't get the ends of those two burned or those over there, but we can do that.
Well, the ends of... Well,
just those little edges,
well,
yeah.
I sawed them.
Oh, you had to saw them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
okay. Yeah, that's
we can
what
always, I can burn them right now in a
Yeah,
minute.
we can burn them in a minute. That looks so nice, though. That is great.
Attached right there at that post and that corner, and then I'm gonna add another post, and they're attached.
Yeah,
They ain't going nowhere.
that is great.
If I can get through the rock pile. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
You feel it in your feet?
Yeah. It's a big rock. Tire you out, don't it?
I've been tired for about 2 hours.
You sleep good tonight?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, Oh, we got it now. Except we hit another. I'll go ahead and what I may do, screw that in and then bend that flyer over where it won't cut nobody and it'll be good enough. What do you think?
I think that'd be fine.
I'd like to get down there where I could get them holes lined up though. Ain't one single hole lining up right there.
Yeah, try one more hit, I guess. Maybe you'll break the rock. There it goes.
See how it twists it though?
Yeah, it turned it.
I might have to use one of them big long screws to pull it. I'll do that down here on this one. Put one short ones on the top.
One bed completed, many more to go, but it turned out so nice. I couldn't really understand what Matt had in his mind, but he knew exactly what he was doing, and I just love it. I love how it looks. It's really sturdy. It'll be there from now on, I think.
Forevermore.
Forevermore. Tired out?
Yeah, I'm pretty tired.
It looks so good, though. Looks so nice. I couldn't, you want to pour us some hot chocolate, Matt? I couldn't understand how he was describing it to me. I'm not a person that can visualize things like that. I have to see it. And I was thinking that the boards were going to go like fence palings, is that what you call them? Not all the way around, but just every once in a while, so I couldn't really understand. I think you give me most of it. Or maybe not. Anyway, I couldn't understand how he was going to do it, but it just turned out so nice. I really love it. Really like it.
That's what counts, as long as the lady of the manor is satisfied.
It looks so nice, and really meaningful to me and Matt that it's the tin that was off our house. While I was helping Matt, I couldn't help much, but when he was sawing, I would hold on to whatever he was, or if he was trying to put the screws in because it was so flimsy. It reminded me of all the times I used to help Pap when I was a little girl. He'd get me to hold stuff like that. And of course, that tin he helped put on.
He sure did.
Yeah, so really great that we can reuse it. Really nice.
Funny story about that tin. It's been handled a whole lot of times. When we first brought it here to put on the house, there was about 10 inches of snow on. And I had it in the back of my truck. It was banded, bundled up. And I went to the building supply and got it. And it was just tied in there with just some kind of little hay string or something. That's all they had. And apparently I didn't have nothing either. So I was afraid to try to come up the driveway front ways because I was afraid it'd fall out. So I started up backward and got right to the top of the hill and would spin out. And I had a big old truck, had big tires on it, and I mean it would go real good, but it just wouldn't go over the crest of that backward. It would forward. And it did go forward, but the problem was I'd tried that several times, and then I finally decided I was just going to turn around and try to ease up the hill and get it up there. And I got, I don't know, 20 or 30 feet of the top, and that whole banded bundle of metal, the string broke, and it all slid out and just sat down in the snow, and then the snow covered it up. It was buried on the side of that big hill in that snow. So we had to go get brooms and shovels and sweep the snow off of it to get down to find it, and then break the band, cut the bands off, and had to carry that
up in the snow.
Up in the snow, up that hill and up into the house. And the house had the trusses on it, and the walls and everything was framed up, and just the corners of it were plywooded just for bracing, but it was just studded walls on the outside walls of the house, or everywhere in the house. And we slid that stuff a piece at a time through the walls just to get it into the house, and that took, my goodness, that took all evening.
And Pap was the reason for all that. He wanted to make a showing. He wanted to do something. Even though it was snow on the ground, he just said, we gotta hurry. We gotta get in this house.
Well, that's all we got done that day, was getting the tin there, because it took all day.
And I know he wished he'd been quiet and not pushed Matt to try to do that, because he of course carried the sheets too. So that was a hard day on y'all.
Then the bad thing was, when we went to put it on, we had to take every single piece of it back out of the house to get it up on the house.
It was a mess.
Well, it got handled, it got loaded and dropped, and then brought to the house, and then out of the house. So that's 3 times it got handled.
And then handed up to the roof.
Yeah. Then, I don't know, 10, 12 years into living here, I took it all off, because the way we built the house at the time, the trusses were just stripped, and then that metal was screwed on it. Well, that condensated and would drip in the attic, and then every now and then it would drip. If the humidity and the heat was right, it would literally drip out of the
windowsills or window,
and the door frames.
Just be like a rain coming down. Yeah.
So I finally decided to do that, and I took all the metal off, and then sheeted the whole house with plywood, and then put black paper on the plywood, and then put the metal back on. And it stayed on there probably
until last year.
Another almost 14, 15 years, and then it got took off and handled again.
Yeah.
And then it was just set off to the side. The guys that did the roof, I didn't do it that time, just piled it up. Well, we had to move it come garden time.
So we had to move it.
So we had to carry every piece of it again across the yard and out into the woods, where it's been sitting ever since till today. Of course, I didn't handle very many pieces of it today, but then it got brought back into the yard and cut up and made into the bed. So it's had hands on it many, many, many times.
I guess you could say we're really attached to it by now.
I guess. I mean, it was put to good use right here, I think. I mean, I think it worked out pretty good.
I think it looks great. It looks so good. I love how it looks.
I don't even care what it looks like. It's just there, and it'll be there from now on for, to hold the dirt in for the beds.
I'm not so much about what it looks like either, but I want it to be functional. But when it does look nice too, that's just like icing on the cake.
Right.
So turned out really, really
so
nice.
When we get done with what we're doing with that, I don't want to handle it no more. I'm about done.
You're done with it.
That's 5, 6, 7 times, however many that is. That's a bunch.
Yeah. A lot of memories, I guess, in that metal. Now there'll be some more. There'll be some good food. This will be Matt's Cherokee purples.
That's where them's going to go.
Cherokee reds, as Granny says.
I'm gonna seed them myself too.
I know, you need to make sure they're right this time. Well,
we need to do these other small beds
Yeah.
that same way.
now that you've got a rhythm, you know what you're doing. They won't be as hard. And this is the very largest one, so they're not any of them as large as this one.
You know, I toyed with the idea of doing that on that big piece down there.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a lot of work. Not the big one down yonder, just this where we grow our beans. And then start adding some good dirt on top of that, and that'd really help that. I mean, it's pretty good like it is, but it would that would make it a whole lot better. It'd just be a tremendous amount of work.
The big one in the front, we have it enclosed, and it's just really just a boundary. It's not like it's actually
Right.
keeping the dirt in, but with rocks from the creek. And we could have done that with this. All of my flower beds have the rocks from the creek. But man, is that a lot of work. And I was much younger when I went down there with Matt's truck and got rocks out and threw them in the back and then brought it up here and unloaded them. And then creek rocks, they're not all, the rocks in our creek are not all like flat. What is that, like shell or something? What is that? I don't know.
It's all different kinds of
Different
rock,
kinds.
but it's been in the creek.
But
its whole
anyway,
life, and
some of it's
round.
big, round, some of it's got dips in it. So in other words, it would take a lot of patience and somebody that really knew how to lay rock to actually use it we've just got them stacked, and that's worked fine all these years. Like I said, it's not keeping the dirt in, but it just offers a boundary, and I love rocks, so it looks nice. I love the creek rocks. But you'd need somebody that really knew how to lay the rock to actually build walls out of it. Even like to enclose the garden reminds me of those that you'd see, like when you see chimneys, old home places. Now they knew what they were doing.
Oh, stacked rock
Yeah,
chimneys, yeah.
stacked rock.
Yeah, them
yeah.
fellers knowed how to do it.
Stanley McConley. McConnell. I was like Stanley McConley. Stanley McConnell, he could do it.
Yeah, he was good. I saw some of his work.
He's
He
like
was
an expert, been doing it for years and years
fantastic
and
at
years. So he could do it.
He
Anyway,
he was one of those guys that it didn't make no difference what it was. If he had his hands on it, it turned out looking
turned
good.
out nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, he was a joy to be around.
Absolutely
We just don't get to see him anymore.
one of the finest fellers I've ever talked to. I mean,
Matt.
he's such a good guy.
Matt and I worked with him at the college. Yeah, he's good. He's good. Had a beautiful wife, too, that was great. Anyway, we feel really good to get this one done, and now that Matt's kind of got it down pat, we'll be able to do the others pretty quick, I think.
I'm a little scared now that you know that I know it.
Because now I'm going to demand more.
Nah, it needs it. We could literally do that same thing on these beds that's dropped off the bank, and then just three-side them and use those little T-posts to hold it in, and because they're rotting and falling, and they're beginning to sink.
Sink down, yeah.
And we could
Yeah.
do that, and then throw the dirt in there, and that would level them back up, and they'd be there forever.
Yeah.
Just more projects.
Yeah, more projects. Well, maybe we can focus on getting the ones up here that all the boards have come off of. And then, thanks so much to all of you who told us about burning the wood. I think maybe I'd seen that before, but I thought it was like artistic. I didn't realize that it would help preserve the wood.
I had seen it and had known about it, but I had completely forgotten about it and never even give it any thought on none of this. So, yeah. I'm glad somebody...
Yeah, thank you so much. Several people mentioned it, so thank you to
Yeah.
all of you. And then just worked out perfect that Matt had got me the torch for Christmas, so we had it, so it's pretty easy to do.
I think we burned up all my grill gas, so...
Probably. But anyway, after people mentioned it, and then I told Matt about it, and we didn't research much, but just the little research I did said that it would preserve the wood, like all of you said, but also that it was like a bug deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, maybe we should just put some boards in all the garden with that stuff on them, and maybe that'd keep the squash bugs away if they didn't like it, and maybe the deer too, which we thankfully don't have that problem, but if we did, if they don't like that charred smell is what it is.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think that it's whatever would bore into the wood, just don't want to bore into burnt wood, maybe. I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
But I don't
I mean,
know
I
that
don't
much
know.
about it.
But if it deters the bugs, I'm all for it. And it turned out to look so nice. I like, well, you probably guessed that, like a rustic thing. So, so I think it looks really nice. And our metal that I said was red, it was really red to begin with, but it's all those years, it's more of a, I don't know, burnt orange, I guess, or burnt red now.
Well, it's 30 years old.
Yeah, but next to the wood, it just kind of blends in, so it's good, looks good. I said it was going to look like a Christmas tree, but it don't really.
Not really.
It's funny, when me and Matt first built our house and was building it, we knew we wanted a metal roof, and this was the first metal roof that Matt and Daddy ever did, so that's why in the beginning Matt didn't put the plywood. He put, like they told him to, the strips, and it just didn't work.
Well, I mean, that was a common practice.
In those days, right.
A lot of people would put Tyvek down first, and of course I didn't do that and didn't know to do it at the time.
So that might have helped.
Later on, I was on a job or two where we did that, but I still don't like that, because I would much rather have, number one, the stability of the roof tied in with plywood, because it's just so strong, and then number two, the insulating value that it gives you. I mean, it holds heat in the winter. I mean, it's all going to escape, but it holds it longer. And it gives you a buffer down in your house that your heat don't go into the attic as fast. So I would never do that again for my own self, do it that way again.
Anyway, that was like I said, the first one, and me and Matt really wanted a metal house, and we really spent a lot of time over what color it should be.
We fussed and argued over that.
And pretty quickly after we were moved in, realized the only way you can see it is if you go over there on that ridge or go above the house on the ridge, so nobody's seen it. You can't pull up in the driveway and see that it's red. No. So we spent a lot of time worrying about that for really no reason.
You can see it from an airplane.
Yeah. Or if you want to climb the ridge, if you're a mountain goat and want to climb up there and look at it. And you can see it if you're on that ridge over there. But yeah.
It quickly, I mean, some years into it, it kind of lost its, having a metal roof, I was all about it, but it kind of lost its value to me. I mean, once I figured out, you remember when we would heat back then, the heaters never turned off, and the power bill was extremely high.
Yeah, well, again, that might be because you didn't use the plywood to begin with.
Yeah. But now it's, that, putting the shingles, plywood in it, and putting the shingles on it, and changing all the windows out.
And changing all the windows has made a huge difference. Another thing me and Matt did when we built our house, didn't know any better, and just tried to do it as cheap as possible, of course, so we bought the cheapest windows there was available. Yeah. And that was a mistake.
Well, that's all we could do at the time.
Yeah, but anyway, changing them out has made a tremendous difference.
It's helped a whole lot on the heating bill, but now you can actually see out of them.
Yeah, you can see out of them. The others had fogged over. They were terrible. This morning we started out, we thought we was going to have a day of maybe having to go back to either Lowe's or somewhere else or whatever, because I thought my washing machine was tore up. It's like most washing machines today. It has, Matt calls it its little brain.
It's a little circuit board.
It's not fancy compared to other ones, like the one we had previous to that was horrid. It was terrible. But it would do its little sensing thing, and then it never would turn on to wash, which Matt cleaned out we think partially it was that the little screen had buildup on it from the water.
Yeah, the incoming water into it. It has a screen on it, and just particles and bits and pieces out of the well will get attached to that screen, and then when the water can't get in there to suit the little sensor, it flips out.
Yeah.
And I could do a whole video on that, and I could get my blood pressure up, but I'm not going to.
No.
That makes me angry. That stuff does.
The first washing machine we had when we moved in lasted.
Yeah,
it lasted all the way till the day that I paid Katie and Corey's braces off. The last payment.
And then it died.
It's like when you just thought, okay, that's one bill we won't have to worry about no more. I was so excited, and then the washing machine died. And me and Matt didn't know we hadn't shopped for. Did we buy that washing machine or did your mama buy it when we first moved in? I can't remember. But anyway, we hadn't. Needless to say, we'd not been washing machine shopping, and we didn't realize. You couldn't get at that time. You couldn't. It was like, well, I mean, you probably could if you searched, but me and Matt didn't know to search. And then too, we just needed a washing machine, but it didn't have an agitator, and it was an upright one, not like, what do you call those?
The top load.
Yeah, it was a top load. Yeah. Anyway, that's all we've ever had, but it didn't have an agitator. That one was horrible.
Yeah.
It wouldn't let you put enough water in it to even get the clothes wet, no matter what you did, and then it just didn't wash. It didn't. It was just horrible. So this one that we have now, we've had it probably, I don't know, 6-7 years, something like that. And it does at least have an agitator, but it washes way better and all that. But it doesn't, it still has its little sensor that it's got to sense, instead of the ones where you just, you know, turned it on and the motor made it agitate, and then it rinsed it out, and then it filled it up, and it did it again, and that was it, and that was simple.
Yeah, well,
and now all that sensing would be okay if when it tore up, you could fix it and Matt can pretty much fix anything, but he can't fix computer boards. He can't do that.
And then
but then they don't actually work. That's the main thing.
And then it's made to where the board is 2/3 the cost of a new machine.
So you might as well. You're like, well, this is so many years old.
If you can get somebody to come put it on.
If I got a new board, then what if something else tears up on it? So I better just get a new one. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, thankfully it's working. Matt did that, and we got it to do another load. So hopefully it's going to be okay.
You know, I've thought about that today, off and on, in my mind. I believe that I could take a washing machine motor and without having any of that junk on it to tell you to do all that stuff, and make a washing machine out of that motor.
Oh, I'm sure you could. Yeah,
make a tub with it, and I could make my homemade agitator in it, and you just turn it on and it just sits there and agitates until it gets to you're done, and you turn it off, and you could put a drain in it, drain that water out, refill it with clean water, rinse it, drain that out.
Yeah.
Turn it back on, and you probably wouldn't have a spin cycle, but you could agitate it enough to get most of the water out, and then throw them in the dryer.
Yeah.
And you could do that with just homemade parts and a barrel. And I would rather do that is to have what we've got.
Yeah.
It just makes me angry.
Once you start making washing machines,
nobody'd buy them. It'd be that nobody's going to buy something you got to walk up and plug and unplug to get it to work.
It does make you frustrating, but I am very thankful for my washing machine, and I'm thankful for this one we've had it a good long while now, but that it has an agitator. That one that didn't have one, and that was mine and Matt's stupidity that we bought it and shouldn't have. But there wasn't none there that had one at that time.
You might as well throw your clothes out in the rain.
Oh, it was. Yeah, our clothes smelled. We smelled terrible. Corey and Katie called it the smell of death. Especially dark colors. If it was something dark, you just forget about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like we just basically threw away all of our dark clothes because they just got.
Smelled like you've been rolling hogs.
Oh my gosh, they were horrible. Anyway, I am thankful though for my washing machine. I'd hate to do like Granny Hicks when I interviewed her, talking about going to the creek and doing it on a scrub board. That would be hard work. It'd be hard enough when you think about your regular clothes that you wear, but then when you start thinking about sheets and covers and quilts, that'd be terrible.
That'd be a day's work just doing that.
It'd be 2 or 3 the way. As many clothes as I do, it'd be 2 or 3 days work. I guess though that would surely incentivize you to not dirty so many clothes and to really wear them till they were really dirty, which we try to do that anyway. I think this is about the 4th day I've wore these pants, so.
This what I've got on is gonna have to be took off.
Yeah,
here
Matt's
soon.
I'm
dirty.
He's put his knees in the mud, so he's went through to his under. You got long johns on?
No, I don't have long johns on. We ain't that far back in time.
Well, it's cold outside. I didn't know.
Get my union suit on.
Yeah, well.
It ain't that cold.
It could be like those people get sewed into it.
Yeah.
The old days.
Yeah.
Until spring. It's felt like spring this year, this week, even though it's been, I mean, it's like chilly right now, but it's been so much warmer.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like spring. It's
Yeah.
not yet, of course, but it has
Just to
seemed
get cold
like
again,
it.
keep stuff from budding out.
Yeah, I've noticed some things budded out. May get bit.
Yeah.
I mean, probably will, because we'll surely have some colder weather.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, it's been
absolutely.
being cold at night, though. We've been having big frost, but just the daytime's been warming up.
Right.
I got to get my carrots planted.
When's that taking place?
I don't know. We've got a lot accomplished, though, in the last little bit.
Mm-hmm. It's to do as summer comes on with all that down yonder.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a lot of work.
Well, it's going to be a lot of work, yeah. I keep hoping Thomas will come, and of course I've not bothered him. We told him just come when he could, but...
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Okay. Saying goodbye to the girls. But Matt said, well, all the wet weather we had probably put him behind on the other jobs that was in front of us. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. I'm just being impatient, ready to get started. Which it probably won't take him very long. They're quick. As to do what he has to do, then me and Matt will have to worry about the garden.
Yeah, he won't be here a day and a half, 2 days at the most.
One thing I don't think that I took a little video, and then I meant to put it in a video, and then I didn't. Somehow I left it out, but one thing we noticed when we were down there the last time, walking around, kind of dreaming about what was going to happen, where we was going to put the corn and all that, Katie had come down and she noticed that one of the peach trees, at the bottom of it, there was a bunch of stuff, and then we started looking, and almost every peach tree, it's like jelly stuff all the way around the, what do you call it, base of the trunk where it goes into the ground. And I guess it's like peach borer or something has bored out the inside of the peach tree. So it's just like a goopy mess all the way, just in a circle all the way around the tree. So the peach trees may not have lived past this year anyway, even if so. I don't even know if we'll be able to. We're going to have to really ask somebody that knows if it's worth even trying to transplant them, because it's just almost like a pile of wood shavings, except it's slimy and gel-like substance. Yeah. So we were worrying about the peach trees, and seems like they may have I mean, they didn't do it on purpose, of course, but they may have took care of themselves.
Yeah.
With the borer or whatever has infiltrated their trunks. Still is a lot of work to do down there, though.
Oh, yeah. A whole lot of work, and then I don't know about this barn building business. How we gonna build a barn and garden at the same time?
I don't know.
I mean, I want one.
You can get you some lights down there so that you could work at night and they could shine on you.
Right now would be a fantastic time to be building it,
But we can't do it till Thomas is.
Right.
Yeah, so we're waiting on that, because we don't want to be in his way, and he needs that whole area like for a staging area. So yeah, it'll just have to happen when it happens.
That's all we can do with that. Just whenever we can get to it and do it, and if we can do it, and if we can feel like doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope we can do the barn this year, but even if we couldn't do that, just to have the corn would be a major achievement.
Yeah, you know how much it's going to cost, how much corn seed it's going to take to do that, and what that's going to cost the way it is now?
I know, things are so
What
expensive.
in the world happened to corn seed?
It's got crazy, but I have a
goodness.
lot of the seed from Debbie, so I do have that. I mean, it's not enough to do the whole thing, but that'll offset it at least. Yeah.
Will it cross up with what else we plant down there?
I don't know. It's open. The one kind that she shared with me, which actually one of you had shared with her, is open pollinated. We'll have to call Debbie, and we'll have to do research about it.
She's pretty slick on that
Yeah,
stuff.
she is. She has so much knowledge. Yeah. So we'll have to ask her. Well, you tired out?
I've done about all I can do today.
Got a lot done, though.
Yeah.
Now you got it in your mind how to do it, and the others will go quicker.
I may forget this between now and then.
You're not going to forget it.
You never know. I might have a bout of amnesia.
Well, you come in here and did it like you'd been doing it all your life.
I've been doing stuff like this all my
Well,
life.
I know
just ain't done
that.
it lately.
I know, but I mean like you had been building beds like this.
No.
He said, let me do the first one before we make sure that I know what I'm doing so he could explain to you in case you wanted to do it, you know. Just did it. I was like, well, I could have filmed that.
Told you that the head movies don't lie.
Matt said he'd come up with this in his head movies. Him and Corey and Katie tease about their head movies all the time. It's an old joke, old family joke about the head movies.
Yeah.
From a long time ago.
You got to believe in the head movies.
Mm-hmm. I heard somebody got you with the monkey.
Yeah. Katie got me with the monkey. She put it in I had a little flat of Chips Ahoy cookies that I'd been eating just one or two of here and there as I thought of them, and they was down to 3 or 4 left. We'd had the bag for a couple of weeks, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I went in there and ripped it open to get one, and there sat the monkey in it. And I started laughing, and then she heard me in the living room, and she started laughing. She said, I got you.
If you missed that, the girls and Matt play this game with this monkey that they hide on each other until somebody finds it. And the time before that, Matt had hid it from, was that you and Corey that did that, or just you in Katie's room?
It was me and her.
Corey and Matt hid it in Katie's room. She has this little figurine of, is that an eagle? Mm-hmm. Like an eagle sitting up on the new buildings that Matt built her. Mm-hmm. And they tied it. Did you zip tie it or something?
No, it's rubber banded it.
Oh, rubber banded it to the eagle's wing. And we all knew it was there, and it took Katie forever to see it. And like I was in there one day with her, and she was pointing and showing me like what she had done on the build-ins and talking about some of her plans and stuff. And I just kept like looking at her and looking at the monkey and looking and hoping that she'd see it. She didn't see it that day, so I didn't say nothing. And it took probably a week or so after that before she ever seen it. And then she said, how long has that been there? And we were like, way too long.
It's there 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, you've been looking at it a lot. Anyway, I don't know how y'all ever started that game, but it's fun.
I don't know. I don't recall how that started, but it was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't it didn't start with the monkey. It started with something else.
A Matchbox car, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I've still got it. And I hid it in her room the same day as we did the monkey. And she just found it a couple of days ago.
Oh, where did you hide it?
Right up above the monkey, she has books, and I put it on top of one of her books.
Oh, and it's just sitting there.
And she was sitting on her yoga ball. She said, just looking at her stuff, and just happened to drift her eyes up and look and see
seen
it.
That's funny.
And she said, well, "Wait a minute, what is that?" And she got up and walked over, and it was the car.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
When we've talked about that before, and I shared it on the blog, a lot of people said they have games like that where it's not a monkey or a car necessarily, but something else that they take turns hiding. Made me weird. I thought, that's so fun. I'm glad y'all figured it out. I wish when I was young, me and Paul would have really liked that, but we didn't ever think of doing nothing like that.
Yeah.
But we would have enjoyed it. Well, I guess we better go in and figure out what's going to be for supper.
I still got a bunch of tools to pick up.
Pick up all our tools. That'll take a while, won't it?
Yeah, I wanted to do that before I sat down. Don't know if I'm going to be able to now, but I'll try.
Need some help getting up?
I'll just roll out on the ground and get up if I have to.
I need a, what do you call it? What was we using yesterday to move furniture? What do you call those?
Hand truck.
Oh, a hand truck. Yeah, I need a hand truck to get you up and push you on it.
Yeah, maybe.
Go get the hand truck for Matt.
Mm-hmm.
We're always grateful when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia, and we hope that you enjoyed seeing how Matt finally used the tin from our roof to build our first raised bed.